Call to order the Board of Adjustments meeting. We'll do roll call. Travis?
Here.
Tanya?
Here.
Reagan's here. Randy?
Here.
Brandon?
Here.
Good, we have a quorum. If y'all would, please review the minutes from last month's meeting and make a motion that we change or we approve.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Travis makes the motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, Randy second. Travis?
Yes.
Tanya?
Yes.
Reagan's yes. Randy?
Yes.
Brandon?
Yes.
Unanimous? Good. All right. If y'all would review the agenda and make sure that you have any changes or we can approve. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, Tanya made the motion.
I'll second.
Brandon second. Travis?
Yes.
Tanya?
Yes.
Reagan's yes. Randy?
Yes.
Brandon?
Yes.
It's unanimous. All right, Sonny?
Mr. Chairman, first item on the agenda is a public hearing for the request of a variance located at 1450 Meadow Bridge for the construction of an RV accessory building. This building is already has been built, but it's for the request for 20-25 structure with a 12-foot sidewall accessory building in the side yard for an RV storage. It would require a variance from the requirement of storage buildings being in the rear yard and 10-foot setback from the existing structure. The variance request was posted, published, and letter sent to property owners with numerous negative comments about the construction of the material of the building. You have in your packet copies of photos. The property owners have provided other structures in that part of the subdivision and other subdivisions. There's only one structure in that subdivision that is similar to what they're requesting, and it was built in 2006 before our accessory building ordinance was built. We do have some other RV structures in Meadowbrook, but they are out of a building material similar to the houses that are required, that we require in our subdivision. You'll notice it's got one right next door to them on Meadowbridge Drive. The one below that is also on Meadowbridge, but that's one that's built in 2006. But
So where's the one that they are requesting? Did I miss that? I'm not seeing a photo of that. Is there a drawing? You said it's already been built or it's already?
yes, it's on the tall metal structures. It's similar to the one that
It's in
they're
two,
showing you that was built in 2006.
right?
But
Only the sides
placement
go
of it
farther
would be
down.
right next to the photo that you have here, where the pickup truck is
That's it?
parked here.
Yes.
That's where it's located now.
Oh, okay, so that's where it's
Do you
located.
have a relevant photo, son? Do what? Do you have a photo of it now?
I drove by
I
it
have
today.
one.
It's literally right next to,
Yeah.
smack next to the house.
It's one of those mobile, was it kind of one of those
Too wide.
with the poles that
Yeah.
come down and the metal that comes down, but you said the metal
Photo
comes
of
in.
it, and
Oh, do you good?
pass it by.
Oh, you see it? Right there. Oh, I see it. So it's not, is this bolted onto concrete or foundation, or is it just right now it's
I'm
suspended?
not sure.
Okay.
Is it bolted down? It's bolted down.
Is it bolted down on concrete, the driveway, or what was that on?
There was a pad there already.
Was there, it looks like it extends over the pad into grass. How's it mounted into the ground? Thank you, Randy.
It's a good size, always like that area. It's okay.
Yes,
It is a pad, it is bolted down, it was all done professionally. We were not aware of any rules, regulations,
okay.
so we didn't do what's going on.
Well, I understand. Yes. Okay.
Hello, I'm Marla Locklear, and this is my husband, John. And we are relatively new residents to Greenwood. We've been here a little over 2 years, and we really love our development and how it's well maintained and everything. And when we bought an RV, we noticed that the UV destroys everything that's not designed to grow. And so, in trying to take care of that investment and our truck that we recently purchased from hail and from the sun, we put up a structure and wanted to have it on the side of the house so that you come right in and, you know, don't stand out in the rain or the hail or whatever. We didn't understand that we needed to request that prior. And we saw other structures around town. And I have a couple of pictures that maybe are in addition to what Hunter has. I'm not sure. They might be the same ones. But we took
There's
our,
some on West Center Street and some other.
there's a new one
locations
on
that I
West
saw there.
Center.
Yeah.
Yes, and the one on Meadow Bridge looked nice and neat, and he's using it for kind of the same purposes that we are. We were unable to erect this in our backyard area or further out on the side yard because the ground gets soggy with any rain. We get our truck stuck. We get our zero-turn mower stuck in it. And so this seemed the natural placement to put it. And so we're requesting a variance to keep that in place. And we appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to see that it is on the concrete pad?
Oh, that's fine. Have you seen it, Hunter?
It is,
Okay,
yeah,
so you
yeah,
saw.
zoom in.
Okay.
It does sit on concrete on all portions.
Okay. And so I'm not real familiar with the design of those poles. I'm just going to call it pole awning. That's okay. So has anybody on the commissions ever been involved with the pole awnings like this, the metal, kind of almost a mobile type?
All I know is that the ordinance was made that we don't have, in order that we don't have.
Yes, the mobile ones.
Those.
I agree. And I didn't know if you could enhance where I'm leading to
Mhm.
this is, can you enhance those what they purchased? So I know the sides, I think the metal roofing in itself, I'm not sure it's a bad thing, but I think maybe if they could, enhance what they have there. I mean, what do you think, Hunter? You went out there and kind of looked at it.
I mean, those structures do have the ability to have fronts put on them if that's kind of where you're leaning towards.
Are you talking about enhancing the poles, making them look more like
Yeah, well, I mean,
columns?
covering the sides and I don't know if even the doors are as much as just the exterior to look like more of a traditional stick built,
Do they have a copy of the current ordinance in effect?
No, huh?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to ask for.
There is a misconception that we are going to be addressing here pretty soon. There was an old ordinance, forgive me for not remembering the exact number, that was dedicated for accessory structures. It was repealed and replaced, and the accessory buildings information was relocated within our zoning ordinance. So a lot of the information regarding specifics to carports was removed. And we had a misunderstanding with the state statute that required, or pretty much prohibited that we.
We didn't have the ability to specify building material, but it has come back and we've got a clarification on it, and it says any property that was platted before, what do you remember the date? 2019, still our ordinance would cover that. It's
Okay.
for new building, new subdivisions and things like that. But anything that was platted before 2019, we do have the ability to regulate.
Okay. So,
You know, the issue here is, you know, and we've approved these in other areas. We've approved them because there were other in that area. The issue here is there's not any in that area except for the one. And again, it was built in 2006. I went back and looked, and it was built in 2006, so it was grandfathered in. The other ones that are in Meadowbrook right now that are for RV storage have been built out of, you know, wood, brick, whatever. And so that is the issue, is that it is not, it does not follow the other ones in the area. Reagan has a point. Could it be enhanced? You know, I don't know.
But legally, since this is from, so you're saying if the carport was after 2019?
since the
Then
house
it's-
was built
Or
prior to
the house.
2019.
It was
Okay.
partial before 2019, so it falls under the
Okay.
rules that we can regulate the
It's
the
the
material.
plat of the house.
do what.
It's plat, okay.
Yeah.
So it's the plat
And-
of that subdivision was prior.
And, you know,
So
it's not on
then
the
legally, we
materials.
don't have, we can't say that it's,
It's not on the materials, it's the location of it, and because it's supposed to be 10 foot from
Mhm.
building next to it, and it's supposed to be in the backyard instead of the side yard, you know, like she's addressed that, you know, they have a issue with the ground in that area. I mean, I live in that area and I've got the same issue there. When it's wet, it's wet and you will sink.
Mhm.
When it's dry, you could run a semi across there and not leave a track, so.
So the ordinance does say that it has to be back, not behind the front of the house. It's backyard. It's not side yard.
Accessory structures are only allowed in the rear yard. Put them in the side yard or the front yard would require a variance.
And then 10 feet would be a variance.
Yeah.
10 feet from any other structure, 7.5 from the side yard. So they do meet the side yard setback, but they have it immediately adjacent to the garage, just to stay on top of that concrete pad that they had existing.
It looks like there's a structure I'm assuming it's like to the south of their house. It looks like does your neighbor have an RV storage?
Yes, they have a picture of that in the ones that they show. It's where it says shade structure next door, Meadow Bridge Drive. That's their next door neighbor.
And what do we, I can't.
Do what, Ray?
of that.
Let's talk about
What are
this
we
one right
talking
here,
about?
Reagan.
Okay,
That's that one.
yes, I mean, that's their house,
Yeah,
right?
you can
That's
see
the
the
one that's
structure
next door.
right there.
Oh, I see that. Okay, so that's the neighbors. Oh, I got you. And this is where
And
the,
this is Mr. Van Kooten's. It was built in 2006. He was one of the first houses
Mhm.
built in.
I'm looking at this shaded structure attached to home.
Yeah, I
didn't
have no idea where
know
that
what
is.
that was. Okay. So I see what you're saying, Randy.
Yeah.
And this is on West Center Street down by Westwood.
Yeah. So let's say it's right next to the house. The roofs do not tie. So there's no tie-in. So there's the 10-foot problem. And then because the plat was before 2019, we can regulate that it looks similar to the homes or the home.
We would have to put it in our ordinance, which is what we intend to do. We're going to redo the zoning ordinance to include some additional information allowed to us per state law.
Prior to
The
2019.
ordinance we're under right now does not allow us to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
So if this was in the backyard 10 feet away, it would be fine.
They wouldn't be here.
So do you understand that part of it? So if this was in the backyard and it was 10 feet away from your current home, that would not be an issue. Okay, but your problem is because of the ground water, it's hard to access.
It's a flood zone. We have a well in our backyard that from time to time will overflow as well.
Okay, which would be right on that side. Hmm. So is there's no one here? Y'all have had responses to where?
Yes, I think I counted 10 people that called and says, we'd rather that not to be there. I mean, they were good about it. They said, I don't care about the structure itself, except it doesn't fit with any of the other structures in the neighborhood.
So if you push this back, let me ask you this. So if you poured a driveway that went parallel to your home to the back, and it got to the backyard, behind a fence probably, I mean, we're trying to get, something that the neighbors would be happy with and that y'all would be happy with, because you've already spent the money. And so that's the point of what, just talking out loud, because I'm just.
No, I appreciate it, sir.
Yeah.
And had we known, believe me, we would have,
Sure.
we didn't know anything about ordinances or HOAs or CCRs or whatever you call them.
Yeah.
We drive through our neighborhood and we see people that have RVs. You want to protect them. That's all that we did, was try and protect our investment. We're retired. We don't have the money to do this 2 or 3 times. We hired a professional organization to put it in, to do it the right way. If we try to move that back, the cost involved in that is not affordable for us. We're talking about pouring a whole new cement pad. That's $10,000, $15,000, $20,000. I don't have that kind of money to get and that's wet behind the fence. I have pictures of my truck being stuck there, just trying to drop something off in my backyard.
And I don't know how much they charge you, but it looks like to get to your backyard. I mean, if there was a variance to 10 feet from the structure, you could put that, at least in your backyard. And I'm thinking you're probably 15 feet from your current pad to your back corner. And, you're about maybe 15 feet wide.
It's 20 feet wide,
20 feet wide,
25 feet deep.
25 to the back.
No, yeah, from
Right.
the shed, the carport itself is 20 wide, 25 deep. Yes. So that's a lot of pad.
Well, now, how much pad would you pour to get to your back corner? And again,
How much did I pour?
no, you have right now, you've poured, it looks like you're within about 15 or 20 feet of your back
Um,
corner
the-
now.
From where the back of the pad is right now to where the fence is roughly 6 feet. So you're 6 feet from the back of the pad to the fence.
And then you'd have to pour another pad for the building.
You'd have to,
That's where the money is.
You'd have to remove that part of the fence,
Yes,
as,
right.
permanently as well.
True.
That's not affordable.
That's not affordable.
Right.
No.
It would require more than just cement back there, because you'd have to level the ground and you'd have to probably put gravel underneath so the cement didn't crack,
Yes, ma'am.
because it does start to get soggy and slope a little bit. So
There's also a floodplain aspect to that.
You should have.
Yeah, I do see that.
I
That you
don't
put
know
that
if
in
they
there.
can fit within that, but we prohibit all development within the floodplain
Okay.
through ordinance.
Got us in a weird spot, huh?
Yeah, we sure want to help you out, but we're kind of.
We
stuck
appreciate
with the
that,
little
'cause
bit of
that's-
ordinances.
Yeah.
We feel for your expenses that you've already paid for on that. And,
We extended the concrete on the one side, had a local company do it there in Greenwood. And, that was about $4,000 just on that. And it was another almost 5 on the structure.
so,
Carolina Carports was the company that installed it and anchored it.
if you built a carport over the concrete, because that's the biggest investment, I don't know how much you spent, and you don't have to say, you can give a range if you wanted to, but on the metal, you could build a carport off of that side of your house. And that way you're at least, I don't know how tall, you still can go as high as just like your neighbor did coming off of theirs. So you probably have that. I mean, there's still that option. I know that's probably quite a bit more money than what that building was that you could get, and hopefully you could resell that.
Yeah, no, that's,
But
forgive me, but I don't think anybody's gonna want to buy a carport, tear it down and move it. I wouldn't.
yeah, that'd be a pretty good deal for sure.
That'd be a good deal for somebody, absolutely. If I understand you correctly, you're talking about a flat carport?
It's by design, you have, a gable, just a carport of some sort with a roof line that would match. I mean, you're coming off, and so you're, like Hunter said, 10 feet, that variance would not be required because you're going to be tying off of that gable coming off of your garage. And then you're extending that over the investment that you already had in concrete. But I mean, it's a considerable price to build a carport that would come off of that building. But your neighbors have spent that price, and that's what we have to be sensitive to, is they've already spent it. I don't know how much ballpark, what was that building? Just
That building right there?
I'm more curious. Yeah,
Yeah, it was about $4,600.
So you're about 46 in that.
That's just the building.
Yeah, your concrete's already there. I know you had.
No, we poured extra concrete to accommodate for that. The concrete went another roughly 6 feet. And then 20 something feet plus the angle.
So the concrete wouldn't go to waste. And as I'm leading to this building a carport that's attached to your garage, and you've invested almost $5,000, let's say, and hopefully, again, I think you'd probably sell that for $2,500 pretty openly because it's pretty new, evidently, and so in good shape. But all that being said, there's about a $2,500.
$2,500? No, sir, I paid more than that.
No, we're seeing the difference.
Just on the
Oh, I'm
building.
sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, if you sold the building, I hope, and again, I'm just more
Throwing out
encouraging
ideas.
than anything else right now. If I was in your position, and again, I don't know what the commissioners are going to say, but that's quite a bit of variance with quite a bit of complaints, I would say, than we have typically. And so it would be a concern for us to approve it, I would think. But we still, we want to be helpful.
Appreciate that.
You bet.
Tough one for us.
Oh,
I mean,
I
we live, we
know.
have retirement income, the money's spent. We spent our money on the trailer. Everybody seems to have other ones around. If they don't match the neighborhood, I'm sorry, the neighbors don't feel, nobody came and donated money to me to help me put it up. So I didn't know I had to check with anybody. Otherwise, we would have come in, and I think Hunter can tell you, we were very responsive. When we got a notice, we came in right away, and we're here
Well, I can
tonight.
tell, and y'all are approaching us, and we appreciate it, the way you're approaching the matter, and but it's difficult for you, and it's more difficult because of ordinances for us. Again,
So would the structure have to have like a shingled roof on it or over the top of it to modify it?
I think.
Side down the outside?
And again, I would say that many buildings have metal roof accents. So I wouldn't think that in particular would be as big an item. But if you came with a suggestion that said, hey, that we could even approach the 10 people that did, have, and said, well, they're looking at, maybe enhancing this to look more like the house. I mean, that would be something more that we could those 10 people would be like, oh yeah, that'd be fine if they could put wall material up. And all we would have to do is basically, the two variances would be the 10-foot, and I don't think you would really, the way that is and the drainage that it has, I don't know if that would be a concern as much if that was, that being that close.
To the house.
Yeah.
It looks like their house is guttered, so any runoff from that structure was run off down to the side, which is already graded away or onto the existing roof, which is guttered to direct it out back.
Right. So I would think that would be, something, if you could brainstorm on that, maybe come back or let Sonny and Hunter know, and they could, verbally say, this is an enhancement that they're looking at doing that, then they may be in favor of the variances more than not, right now. Y'all agree? I
That
mean, that would be, it'd be metal roof, but there's some metal roof accents.
Yes.
Is the metal roof kind of match your current roofing? I mean, is it barn red or is it more of a black, or what kind of roof does this metal?
You share the picture.
I don't know if it's on my phone.
It's the typical.
It's white.
Oh, is it white?
Yeah, it's white.
Okay.
Because part of the color of our house is white.
Okay, so the trim on your house. I think-
Less obtrusive. It wouldn't take as much sun.
Yeah,
Let me say, I live down the street from them,
yes, sir.
and I didn't notice it. You know, it didn't, when I drove by, but all of a sudden I was getting phone calls saying, why did you approve? You know, they always say, why did you approve, them building this, you know, in our neighborhood? And I said, I went to Hunter, and I said, Hunter, was there a permit on this building there? And he said, no, what's going? And so, you know, we contacted code enforcement, and that's when they received a letter. But, again, it's one of those things that the complaint is it doesn't match the other houses. I don't think that the 10-foot variance and being on the side yard is a big deal to the people that said anything about it. They just, you know, said that it didn't match the other ones.
The material that was used wasn't
Yeah.
as comparable to the others, and that's what we're
And
talking
you know,
about.
we've got those over in this area here and other areas, but in Meadowbrook, there wasn't any except for the one house, like I said, 2006.
Let me say this to you. I think to enhance the side walls and the back wall and so forth, to make it probably something that these other people have done, it would probably be money ahead to build a cover and make it a true carport. Because you're gonna be spending a lot of money on wall materials.
So in that line of thinking, then if we just basically frame it in and make it look more like acceptable to my neighbors, it would be.
Or more compatible to your neighbors or comparable. So that's, yes, I mean, yes. But again, I think once you look into that, I think probably building it might just the roof and not building the walls. I mean, you might be the same money. Does that make sense?
To sell the metal structure that we have and erect a carport itself,
Roof,
just the roof and not the sides.
that's right. There's not, yeah, I think
Has to be attached to the house though.
it would come off of that, yes. So you would be a carport roof would come off of that house. Yeah. It would really, there's a picture, your neighbor, I think. Is that Brandon? Is that true?
Yeah.
It'd be, but it would, I think, I haven't seen yours. I don't know how tall yours went, but it would be,
This one right
It's
there.
It's basically attached to the house, isn't it?
yeah, this one here.
All this goes away, right? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Is this a fifth wheel you park under it?
No, sir, trailer.
How tall is your trailer?
My understanding is about 10'6", because of this structure had supports to hold it. We went a little bit taller. And me personally, I think it's a little too tall when I look at it, but we wanted to make sure we could put the trailer in and move the trailer to one side so the other vehicle can be parked and covered as well.
Who had the picture of that? Did you, Randy, or you were showing me as Brandon? Did you have a picture in
Hunter's
front
got
of
that
that?
picture of it.
house? That's, we can look at that. I mean, just to, let's see how that. Yeah, it'd be,
Bring it in close to the side. We had to go up another foot or two.
So that we didn't rip off the AC unit on top of the RV or
oh,
something
yeah,
along the
definitely.
side.
We just built a RV garage we had to go 12 feet tall to get theirs in your house.
I think it also has a wind rating on
150.
that structure.
150.
Yeah.
You drove by, okay. So it would be, yeah, your gable, I mean, just that garage gable, it it would be, you'd have to come up, it would be an interesting
It's,
design.
You speak up a little bit, Sarah. My ears are plugged up.
Because of the height of your RV, you may be going over the top peak of your garage gable. And so that you
So
could,
would we need to tie into our home or just
I
simply
think-
extend the cover over the home and leave that air gap between?
it's things that you'd look at as far as with an architect or a builder and just see how you could come off of that. But I do believe that the wall material, after you look into that, would cost you just as much as selling that for hopefully 50%. And then bringing your material in just to do the carport top.
And this has to be built and put in place, and is that what you're saying?
I would
Just
say, yes. I mean, you would come and get a permit from a Hunter and make sure that that's, complies with building codes, but you're gonna want it that way, just like y'all built this right. You just didn't know. And so, but yes, I think there's two ways to approach it. One way is to try to get another variance, try to get, figure out what the cost is to build walls around that, make it look more comparable to your home. And we hope the people would be agreeable to that.
And if not, is the city in need of a shelter?
I don't know that. There you go.
We have a trolley that could probably use it.
Oh, man, there you go.
I've got a shelter for you, sir.
Yeah, no doubt. It's only $4,900.
$125.
Oh my gosh, I knew I should have put that in. But yes, but anyways, that's things to think about on that. But I think just making it more comparable to what your neighbors have and the investment they put in, I think.
Now, is there a date on that? Do I have to go from March of this year forward, or is there regulations or something's going to come up and say, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm asking a serious question because we don't know.
That's a good.
I heard him say that things are in the air. Am I correct, Hunter? So that still puts us in a position, no matter what we do, a neighbor could complain and I have to change it again.
No. If that was attached to your home and it was, that you could make it,
well, when you get the building permit and get the permission to do it, that would take the neighbors out of the
Oh,
picture.
yeah,
That'd be
definitely.
best
Just
on
know-
us.
True, yes.
Again, my ears
Oh,
are plugged. I'm
yes,
very
you could.
sorry.
Once you get the building permit, the neighbors, you could paint it pink for that matter. Not that you're going to want to, but there's not going to be any.
We're our neighbors. We don't want to upset anybody.
Yeah.
We enjoy our community. We enjoy the people here. So far, we haven't had any issues with anyone. Sonny was at my house last year. Is that right, Sonny? I think he could attest that we're not the kind of people that cause trouble, but we don't want to be singled out either.
No, and we don't want you to feel that way.
Okay.
And you're not.
Thank you.
But we would really, we hope that we would be able to, if you guys decided to enhance the walls, but I think you're putting good money after bad if you do that. Because I'm not sure how those poles are and what the structure, but once you sell it.
They're just square 2x2, metal. It's attached to the rails.
So that's something, it's something to think about. But we would hope that everybody would be agreeable if you wanted to enhance it to make it look better. I think the same money, you could probably put a carport on with a roof structure.
Hmm.
And, so that's something, those are the two options I think that you kind of look. We sure don't want to send you away with no options. I mean, because.
Thank you. We appreciate that because we moved here because of many reasons. The school district, my wife worked for the school district for many years, so she's very fond of that and other things that we enjoy here as well. So we don't want to be put in a position that we feel terrible after we have to spend money on top of money to appease our neighbors that we didn't know anything about.
Right.
And again, I mean, no sarcastic, no disrespect to
Oh,
anybody.
you did not know, and you wouldn't have done it if you knew.
No,
I mean,
we
I
would have
don't think
gone
there's
and
a question about
Hunter
that.
and Sonny have been very reasonable every time we've spoken with them. We don't see that there would have been a problem. It's just lack of knowledge.
Right.
And in my advice, if anybody else buys a home here, that they would, the city would send something to them to let them know. Because you come in, this is not something,
No, you don't. And when you buy.
nobody
this-
knows this. The real estate agent, we asked about HOAs and all that, and everybody said no.
I think this isn't part of the covenant. It's part of the ordinance.
We don't deal with covenants.
Right, but I mean, if their covenants may have also been a part of this, I'm not sure how that is. but as far as the ordinance, that's true. You know, anything substantial building improvements, a permit should be in the city. You should come in and
Yeah, okay.
find
We
out.
went this way because it was just less expensive than to try and, basically build another garage next to a garage,
Yeah, absolutely.
And
then you have that flood line that's kind of adds some interesting,
But you can't walk out in my backyard right now, you'll sink.
right?
Yeah.
And I think we would variance, I don't know if that would be a variance part we could even do, but things like that would be possible, but with it being,
I understand what you're saying, and we appreciate you guys aren't, hard cutting stone, and that's the way it is, take it or leave it, But I think that if the city needs a building, this would be the time to pick it up,
I would agree. And
right? Especially if we're gonna be in a
That guy back
spot.
there,
Yeah,
yes,
well,
he's the
he's
man.
welcome to come and make me an offer. He knows where I live, 1450.
What type, just for their knowledge, what type of timetable do they have?
That was a
to-
question we kind of did not answer, but how soon do they need to have this removed?
That would be code enforcement. As far as I know, my dealings with this is when it goes in with permits and various applications, timeframes after that's code.
Yeah, so we would want a timely manner. I
I think
mean,
it would depend on which direction they want to go. If they want to look at enhancing what they've got, if they can come in with some drawings of what they want to do, then you would,
Yeah.
have a leeway there if they're going to remove that, build another one. It's just something that we need to stay in communication.
Yeah.
We're not there to, put the hammer down on anybody.
right. You can tell that from people
Yeah,
here. Doug,
I was just gonna say, the philosophy in the code enforcement office, and I'm in charge of that, which is scary, by the way, but we are, as long as people are looking to make a difference or change it if they need to, you have a plan, Ray laid a couple of options out, so there'll be no pressure. I mean, we're not gonna go over there and maybe take that down. I don't know what the date is on it currently, but we'll work with you on that.
thank you, sir. And you can pick that up anytime you want. You don't have to wait.
After the check cashes.
Well, I think if Hunter has some ideas, I think I'd be interested in taking a look, or if Mr. Bell has some ideas, we'll take a look at what they might have. Otherwise, I don't know. I hate to tear that thing down and just throw it to the side there. I mean, that's not what we want to do.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Especially right now. We got a hell of a storm last night.
Oh, I guarantee you, last
I know.
couple of nights.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
stay in connection with Sonny and Hunter and y'all kind of get a plan together and kind of think about which way you may want to go and,
Would you consider tabling the request right now until
absolutely.
they would come back, with the plan, and that would include the variance of the
10
10
foot
foot
or something.
and all that.
You bet. So, yeah, who wants to make a motion that we table this?
I'll make the motion, we table it.
Okay, Randy made a motion, we table it. I second it, Reagan does. Travis,
Yes.
Tammy,
Yes.
Reagan's yes. Randy,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
okay, it's unanimous.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you for your time and
You bet,
consideration.
absolutely.
We've
Yes,
got more on our agenda. You're free to use.
Second item, Sonny, is what do you have?
Mr.
there?
Chairman, the second item is a public hearing on a request to replace an existing sign located at 891 Country Club Drive. Variance is required due to the request to construct a sign that is 8 foot tall. Currently, the zoning ordinance 2310 states that in a central overlay district, no sign shall be over 7 foot. The request has been posted, published, letter sent to property owners. I had one guy call on it, and he was complaining about a sand pile up on top of the hill, but not the sign itself. If you see the sign that there was before and the sign that they have now, it's a much improved sign. And but again, this is one of those things that we're gonna build it and then ask for permission.
I thought that was a new looking sign out there, so that's,
Yeah,
and that being, they go ahead, I'm sorry, keep on.
that's all I had. Like I said, it's like, it seems like half of our variances are requests on something that's already built. And I don't know how to get it across to people that you have to have permits and you have to have inspections and things like that. People move here from other states, other cities that require permits and inspections, and then they build things, and, we try to help them out. But
I think maybe if if there was some way that we could communicate that when they're signing their purchase agreement on, whatever property they have, if it's.
I don't know, like I said, when I moved to Greenwood and I thought about building a shop, I lived out in Deerwood. My first thought is, I'm gonna need a permit. Where do you live within the city limits that you don't need a permit to build something?
Yeah.
You need to know easements, you need to know,
I mean, now fencing is even permitted, I mean, and
you
it's
need
in
to know
common
where
in most
your
cities.
utilities are, you need to know where your easements are. If you live in a subdivision, then you normally have a, HOA to deal with or whatever, but, in the case of the sign, I think the sign looks much better. If they'd have come to us with this sign before, I'd said, heck yeah.
No, it does look
It
good.
just aggravates me that they build it and then we find it and then we ask them, we tell them, you got to have a permit. Oh, we'll be right down there tomorrow to get a permit. Well, have they paid you for you?
They haven't paid me for the permit or the variance request.
It's like you get ignored.
And this is a business.
Well, yeah,
Exactly. And it's,
of community leaders,
yes.
of business of community leaders.
Yes. And I think it's not just a matter of getting in touch with people, the realtors and all that when people are buying homes. I think if we do periodical advertising, like sending a message out on Facebook and such, word will eventually get out. We do that with recycling and, and things like that. I think if you do that on Hey Greenwood and such, that it would be a good idea. It's something.
The same people that build carports
Mhm.
aren't looking at Hey Greenwood.
So are we?
They're not looking at the city website.
So are we requesting a variance for this sign? Is that
Yes,
what we're?
for the 1 foot height.
It's a 1 foot high.
We kinda got off the subject.
What was the reasoning behind limiting the height? Was it to prevent
Big signs.
businesses being, people could see as they
Well,
drive by? Or?
When communities and you see these smaller signs, I've seen McDonald's signs this tall.
Mhm.
That's the idea of your central overlay,
Mhm.
is to keep the signage down and to a certain height and make them uniform. And so that was the reasoning behind the ordinance. Again, 1 foot difference. I don't Go ahead.
It is 6 feet.
do what.
The center overlay district is 6
6
feet
foot.
max.
All right.
This is a 2 foot.
It's a little over 8 feet tall.
What do we approve for the new food court area down there? What's that height? We had to approve
Oh,
that
yeah, that was.
sign too.
Yeah, we proved that.
I think that was an 8 foot sign, and y'all approved it based on the
Because they kind of sit in a hole.
highway and the topography of
Yeah.
that property.
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
It didn't provide any obstruction, and this property wouldn't have any obstruction due to its setback off of the highway.
And that's the things we've got to be watchful of. I think if we do approve the variances, is that it's something that's unique.
Doesn't look like it'd be too hard to take it down and make it lower.
Yeah, you can cut that bottom off
It's your prerogative.
but they,
Like I said, it was not approved before they,
Yeah.
and, is that is that some way to get people's attention? I don't know.
The uniqueness of this, and not that, hey, this is in how many feet off the road is it?
I did not measure that.
It's quite a ways.
quite a
It's
distance.
probably like,
It's a
it looks
very,
like it's
very
about,
far away from, so.
it looks like 20, 25 feet maybe.
It's quite a ways off.
Oh, minimum, yeah.
Yeah.
it's-
Maybe closer to 45.
Yeah, it's a good 45. I went by there and looked at it, and I didn't even notice it actually. So then I really had to look, and it's a heavily greened area that's around it, so
It's not blocking any
no,
line of
no,
sight to other
existing
businesses.
Yeah, so that the variance is the distance from the road would be one reason to go a little higher.
Maybe
And
the
drainage.
topography is a little different on this too, because it looks like the streets, higher up than the actual,
Yeah, that could be another.
So-
That's a good point.
I have no objection to the sign. Like I said, it just aggravates me that it seemed like we're chasing our tails a lot on our variances because people just build and then come to us, and then our code enforcement has to get involved. And, we've got out at Greenwood, the illegal buildings all over the place there that, that they've been there now for a year. How do you go tell those people that you've got to move that building? Then we have somebody come in and they say, we want to build a building, attach it to our right next to our house. And we said, you can't do that. And they said, well, my next door neighbor has one. The guy down the street's got one. They're the ones that come in and ask, and they get turned down. The other ones put them up overnight. We don't know it. Code enforcement doesn't know if it's been there for a year or a week.
Let me ask you, if that was a mobile carport that they had, what would that be?
I mean, like a portable building.
Like a portable building? Do you still you need a permit?
You don't have to have a permit if it's under 200 square feet.
Okay,
Still has to abide by all the zoning setbacks according to ordinance.
okay, so it does. Good.
Yeah.
But I wondered if the
I
mobile,
think it's big. It's 500 square feet.
oh, I guarantee you. Yeah.
And again, the complaints were all about what it was built out of, not anything else.
well, it was the aesthetics of it is what it was. And that was,
And when I got the call, I drove by and dang, it is there, when I pull out of my street from my house, it's there.
Boom.
Mhm.
You see it.
But I noticed it. My neighbor across the street was one of the first one that called. Did you see that building over there? How'd you allow that?
$5,000, that's a lot of, that's a pretty good price. I mean, that, you'll see that more and more, and that's what you want to prevent once you approve.
Well,
that.
and at one time I was over code enforcement, and what I did, I sent a letter to everybody that I could find in this area that put up portable buildings and structures like that, and say, we have an ordinance in Greenwood. Do not sell anything in Greenwood without a permit.
Yeah.
And that stopped a lot of it.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a gentleman that lived on down the street from here. That house has been empty forever that I think
They're trying to
farmers
remodel.
owned or something. They moved one in and the truck was leaving when I pulled up there, and I says, you can't do that. And he says, well, I didn't know that. I said, did you call and ask? No. Did the guy that sell you that, tell you that you couldn't do that? No. And I said, well, call him and tell him to come pick it up. And he called him while I was standing there. And the guy said, no, it's yours.
Wow.
I said, give me the phone. And I got on the phone and I told him who I was. And I said, I'll tell you what, if you don't come get this building and give this man his money back, you will never sell another portable building in Greenwood. I don't care if you have a permit or not.
Good.
And they turned the truck around and came back and got it.
Good.
Well, because I see a carport like, they just did the RV one right there. And I know they're going to change it. But, where my house is on Ithaca and Governor Bass, I have wanted a carport, an old house, obviously, you know
Mhm.
where it is.
You
And,
can't.
and had never been able to put one up. So according to the law or the ordinance, I'm still not allowed to, correct?
Based on location, not material. If you want a carport in your front yard, that would not be allowed.
Well, it wouldn't be in my front yard.
Yeah,
It
you
would
could
be
put-
in my
you could put a-
backyard.
They could have located that carport they had.
Because I have the pad
They
goes,
could've just
it's
pushed
in
it
my
right behind the fence.
backyard.
Yeah, if that's
Straight
what we're
back.
telling them, if they push that behind their fence, they're good. 10 feet.
But
behind
because
or the-
my back porch,
You-
that's my backyard.
You got two roads, you're on a corner,
Yes.
so you have access to that.
Because I was always told that I wasn't allowed to have one there.
As long as you're 10 feet
For
from
what
your
reason?
house.
For what reason?
For my vehicle.
No, I mean, you said that you were told that you couldn't have one there.
Because carports aren't allowed.
Okay.
About the old law where it had to match match the house.
The house,
Right.
I think there's a court ruling where they
change that.
no longer.
So I can have a carport now.
Right now you
as
can.
long as it matches
Right now
the
I
city
can.
Right now you can. The ordinance, we're going to revert back to our old ordinance where it's going to have to match or you're going to have to get a variance. In your case, because there's so many other of those type buildings in your neighborhood, you could probably come in and ask for a variance. And based on that, yes, you could put a metal carport in there, even with the old
I
ordinance.
mean, I would like a nicer than just a
Yeah.
And
regular.
that would always work. If you did a roof structure with 4 poles.
Yes.
Then that would be, for sure, that would have passed even with the old ordinance because it looks
Yes.
similar to your house. But now, a
Side metal.
metal one that's portable, you could still put that in.
Again, because there's others in that neighborhood. That's what we look at when somebody comes in there. Now, could they do that in one of the newer neighborhoods? No, because there's not any others like that.
Mhm.
But because of, in the Bell Edition and the area up there, you can go down there and every other house has got one.
Right.
And there's some of them are metal, some of them are wood, and so you've got all the variants there. So, yeah, you could put a carport there.
Ray, did you know that house across the street from Tammy?
We did, and she complained a
Well,
lot.
I was gonna say, did she park in that garage?
Well, so if you,
I say she can.
I would love for you to build a garage, actually, if you're interested.
Oh, really? You ready, huh?
He knows a guy.
Yeah, I know some people, so.
Well,
If
back
you
to the
have
sign.
somebody,
Uh,
seriously.
As far as the height of the sign and the design of the sign, I don't have an issue with that. The location of it, if it was along the side of the highway or something like that, but this is set up back up on a knoll going into the country club, and there's been no people that I did talk to say, finally, they're taking down that nasty sign. And so they don't have an issue with it, so.
And
I
I
make
think
a motion to accept it,
You're gonna make a motion?
to approve it.
Okay. Brandon's made a motion to approve. You have a second?
Yes, I'll second it.
Tanya, second. Travis?
Yes.
Tanya?
Yes.
Reagan's yes. Randy?
Yes.
Brandon?
Yes.
Okay, it's unanimous. Good deal. All right. Any other new business that we're gonna talk about?
None that I know of, unless the mayor has something.
Oh my gosh, you're not gonna talk, are you? We don't have-
You know what? I'm gonna be easy on you guys tonight.
I've always wanted to do that.
Sorry, after I said
You
that, I
made me
thought.
right out there. I think-
What? I was gonna
That's
take,
all worried
I
here.
was gonna take the microphone and run.
Text my wife, hold on dinner. Don't.
Mr. Chairman, there's no new business, no old business, and as far as I know, there's no comments.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Yeah.
Okay, Brandon made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Randy, second. Okay, Travis.
Yes.
Tanya.
Yes.
Reagan's yes. Randy. Brandon. Yes.
Brandon, yes.
So we've got we called to order the Board of Adjustments, I'm sorry, the
Planning
Planning Commission meeting. Roll call, Travis.
Here.
Tanya,
Here.
Reagan's here, Randy.
Here.
Brandon.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. Review the minutes from last meeting and request any changes or approval.
Make a motion, we approve them.
Travis made a motion.
I'll second it.
Brandon made a second. Travis,
Yes.
Tanya,
Yes.
Reagan's yes, Randy,
Yes.
Brandon.
Yes.
Okay, it's unanimous. All right, if y'all would review the agenda, which it shows not to have any items.
No items, unless y'all have something to add?
Do we have anyone want to add anything?
You've heard my feelings, I'm going.
Oh, man.
I didn't know you had feelings.
That takes a lot.
I'm gonna run home and work on the speech. I'll be back.
See ya.
I know they do.
Thank you.
All right, so with no items on the agenda, we
Mr.
can,
Chairman, we have nothing for the planning commission under new business, old business, or comments.
okay, so we can just move on to the agenda. I guess there is no agenda to accept, and then we'll just go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that
Brandon made a
motion.
motion, and Tanya made
I'll
second, and we got Travis.
Yes.
Tanya,
Yes.
Reagan's yes, Randy,
Yes.
Brandon,
Yes.
unanimous. Right. Good meeting, guys.
I would like to have a carriage house.
You have a carriage house.
Well, okay, so like as a, okay, yes. But-
That's right. The carriage has nowhere to go.
Take a trolley.
But like as a garage, like
Yeah,
a
just
carriage
kind of,
house.
yeah,
Yes,
detached for sure. I
yes,
think.
yes,
That look just cute.
yes. Like, but a big, because, so I got married.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
thank you. And
Really?
he lives in San Diego. He has several properties. And so we thought, so my mom and stepdad own that lot in between.
Yeah.
And I would, if this sounds, tell me if it sounds crazy, but I would love to buy the lot in between my mom and stepdad, and I.
Is that two lots? That's like two
Yeah.
50 footers.
And if I had